Good morning, students. Open your English textbook, Beehive, to page number 32. The Little Girl by Catherine Mansfield. I have put there beside the title 2 there. It's not part 2, okay? But it is second video. The first one was only the introduction. Here we will start with the proper lesson. So open your book and keep ready, okay? Yes, the first paragraph. I shall read first the paragraph, the entire paragraph, and then I will explain. And in the meantime, all of you follow the textbook. The little girl. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning, before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a great sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there. And bring me my slippers." What is happening here? The daily routine of this particular family. Okay? Here is a little girl. In the next paragraph, we are told the name of this little girl is Kezia, and both her parents are there, and she has a grandmother. Later on, we will come across. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared. Who is he here? Her father. Figure to be feared means a person to be afraid of. You know, figure, somebody you see, oh my God, this one is a symbol of fear. Understood? Symbol to be frightened of. So, moment she would see her father, she would get frightened and avoid it. You just avoid. You escape from the person. Okay? And what was his daily routine? You see, every morning before going to work, he would come to her room and give her a casual kiss. What is casual kiss means? Just formal. Just a routine. You know, casual is a routine, daily. That was the daily habit. Come to her room. He would kiss her on her forehead, and she would respond with, "Goodbye, father." And this goodbye was not a sad one. Okay, usually goodbye means what we are saying. Goodbye means person is going away. You see. But then there was a glad sense of relief. Glad sense of relief means the feeling of thank God the person is gone. Okay, that is the glad sense of relief. You are escaped. Person is gone. Also, not only how she knows that father is now gone, she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. Carriage, you know, carriage is a coach. Those days, the horse would draw, you know, pull the cart. That is called carriage. So her father was going by the carriage, and that sound of that carriage would go fainter and fainter. Fainter means less and less, you know. As it went down the long road, farther and farther, the sound of the carriage was heard lesser and lesser to her, and she was feeling very happy. Thank God, father is gone at last. This is what was happening to her. That was the morning time. In the evening, what happened? You see, in the evening when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. Whenever he came, you see, so far house is silent. In the evening, she would stand near the staircase when father is coming. It was daily routine, and therefore she knows when father is coming. And she would just try to listen what the father was speaking. And she would hear loud voice in the hall. What he was speaking to her mother. "Bring my tea into the drawing room." You see the order? Because he is working, he is commanding and demanding to his wife. I hope your dads are not like this. Okay? But then this particular father, you see, he would command, he would order. "Hasn't the paper come yet? Till now paper has not come." That means the evening paper probably. "Mother, go and see if my paper's out there. Just go and see. And bring me my slippers." You see the order, can you imagine? All ordering. Give the tea, give the slippers, bring the newspaper, all this thing. The moment he came, he would be shouting there. And Kezia would be standing near the staircase, staircase and listening to this shout. The second paragraph. Kezia, mother would call her, if you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. By that time he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? I don't know, father. You see here what's happening? Mother would call for help as if mother cannot manage alone. You see, because too many things ordering. So mother would call, Kezia, come down. If you are a good girl, come down and take off father's boots. You see what she is supposed to do daily. Come and remove the father's boots or shoes. And the girl would come very slowly, would slip down the stairs. Slip down means to come slowly, without making noise, and unwillingly. Not willingly, okay? Not happily. Usually children, when father comes, they would run, no? Father has come to welcome the father. But here just the opposite. The girl was unwilling. And when she came near the hall, more unwillingly, her steps would become more slow. Okay, and she pushed open the drawing room door, and then there you see, by the time she reaches the hall, her father, what he would be doing? He would have put on his spectacles and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. The way he stared at this girl, the way he looked at this girl, it was a terrifying look, very fearful, very frightening look. Okay, well, Kezia, hurry up and pull up these boots and take them outside. You see the way of ordering. She is such a small girl, and he would be ordering, take off the boots and keep them outside. And you see the question he is asking, have you been a good girl today? Because many times mother would be complaining, she was crying, or she is stubborn, or she is not listening, this kind of complaint. For that he is asking, have you been a good girl today? And she can't even answer properly. You see, I don't know, father. You know, when you are nervous, when you are frightened, when you have done something wrong, that time, you know, even if you want to express something, you can't express fluently. Same thing happened with Kezia. You see here, next page, you see. You don't know. If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. You see, he is imitating her. You don't know. You see, we call it stutter. If you stutter like that, stutter means to stammering, can't speak fluently. Okay, that's called stutter, out of nervousness. If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor, or better you go to the doctor. This is what he said. Third paragraph. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. You see here, she never stuttered actually. When she was speaking with other people, she would never stutter. She would never stammer. Okay? She is already growing up. She had given it up already. She has stopped stammering. But only with her father, because she was trying so hard to say the words properly. She wants to speak properly. You also can understand her very well when you have to speak English. For example, many of you are not fluent. You want to speak something to the principals, let's say, if you are frightened, you are not able to speak the words that you are to tell. Okay, same thing was happening to her. And the father wouldn't fail to understand her. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Wretched about means unhappy. You are not simply unhappy, frightened. Why are you so frightened about? And telling to her mother, better you teach this girl not to appear on the brink of suicide. Brink means at the edge of, about to commit suicide. You see, telling she is looking as if she is going to commit suicide. That much unhappy, that much sad she was looking. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. You see, this like this ordering, commanding, naturally, even if she doesn't want to get frightened, she would get frightened. It's quite natural for her. And you see, the writer is saying he was so big. Naturally, girl was so small. For her, father was so big. And then his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Yawned means what most of you do when you are feeling sleepy, opening and closing your mouth. That is called yawning, okay? When you are sleepy. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant, Giant, giant means something very huge, something very great, something to be frightened about. Just to think of him alone was like as if thinking about a giant. Fourth paragraph. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with the father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. You see what's happening, something very pathetic. One more family member she has, that is the grandmother. So Sunday afternoon, not probably, it is true that father is not going for work. Sunday he is at home. So in the afternoon, the grandmother would send her to the drawing room. For what purpose? To have a nice talk with the father and mother. Go down, child, and have a talk with them. And she would come down. Okay. But when she would come down to the drawing room, she would always find the mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. You see in the picture, very well drawn. You see mother is reading there. Father is lying down on the sofa. Not only simply lying down, you see, covered with the handkerchief, doesn't want even to see what is happening around, and his feet on the one of the best cushions, and sleeping soundly and snoring, soundly, very heavy, deep sleep. When you are having deep sleep, only you can snore, okay, and he would snore. You see, the girl always found the same, how she can speak to father and mother. She was feeling very frightened. Next page. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched, and asked the time, then looked at her. You understood what she did? She would come and sit on the stool, gravely watched him. Gravely means seriously, just looking at him. Up to what time? Till he woke up and stretched his hands and legs and asked, what's the time? And then looked at her. This was the almost every Sunday routine, okay? Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. You see what scolding she is getting again. Don't stare so. Staring means looking straight at a person without blinking your eyes, okay? You're looking like a little brown owl. He is comparing his daughter with an owl. You know why owls are having very big eyes, very big eyes. So for that he is comparing, you are looking like a little brown owl. Then one day when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she would make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. You see, she was indoors. Indoors means did not go to school one day because she was having a cold. But whole day she can't sleep because just a simple cold, cough and cold. And so grandmother suggested that, next week your father's birthday is approaching. And so she told her that better you give one gift. And the gift also she told her to make one pin cushion. In the first video I have shown you what is pin cushion, okay? The pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Pin cushion, next paragraph also we will come across. Pin cushion is with the different designs. All three sides you have to stitch first and then stuff inside either with the bits of papers or clothes or cotton and then stitch it. So that the offices, they would put the pin on the top so that whenever they need, they can take it out easily. Fifth, laboriously, with a double cotton, the little girl stitched three sides. But what to fill it with? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room? Oh yes, he said. I tore them up for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. You see what has happened here? Laboriously. Laboriously means with great effort or with great difficulty, with hard work she did. With a double cotton she took, and this little girl stitched 3 sides of this cushion. But what to fill it with? She was something you have to stuff inside, okay? You have to put inside. And that was the question. And she was all alone. Grandmother was out in the garden. And so she was wandering in mother's bedroom. What is the meaning of wandering? W-A-N-D-E-R-D. Wandered means looking here and there. That's called wandering. Because another meaning, wander means surprise. W-O-N, that is, okay, wonder. Wonderful, we say. No, I was wondering. What a wonderful sunset. So it is a surprise. Here it is, wonder is to look here and there without any meaning. Okay. Without any, not knowing what you are doing. So she was just looking what to put inside. She was looking for a scrap. Scraps means something useless thing which is of no use, something she could put inside. And there she discovered there are many sheets of fine papers. So she gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case. Stuffed means put inside. And then sewed up the 4th side. That 4th side was open, so she stitched them up. And that night there was a hue and cry. Hue and cry means angry words, shouting and screaming in the house, because that paper was not a simple paper. It was a father's great speech for Port Authority that had been lost. Rooms were searched, servants were questioned naturally, and finally mother came into Kezia's room. When everybody was questioned, nobody had seen that paper. Now only Kezia remained, and so mother came to her room. And you see how he is telling, Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room? And she said, oh yes, I tore them up for my surprise. I have a surprise for you all, you see. And mother started screaming, shouting, come straight down to the dining room this instant. Instant means immediately, at this moment, just come down. 6th follow. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. You see the father's reaction. The child was dragged down to where father was waiting. Dragged down means pulled down, forcefully brought down to father where father was pacing to and fro. Pacing to and fro means walking restlessly, front and back, here and there. That's called pacing, walking, okay, restless. When you are restless, searching something, you know, that's called pacing. Hands was behind. And very sharply saying, well, and mother explained what has happened. And he couldn't believe. For that he is staring at her, you know, stare means look straight at her and telling, did you do that? Is it true? And she started speaking lies now, you see. No, because she doesn't know. She did not know that it was a speech to be delivered. And so she's telling, no, I have not taken anybody's speech. And you see what father is telling to mother. Go up and bring that, fetch down. Fetch down to bring down the damn thing. Damn thing here is useless thing. See that child's put to bed this instant. Make sure the child goes to sleep. This moment, this very moment she should go to sleep. We will continue tomorrow.